This video series is all about taking the mystery out of whiskey cocktails and making them approachable for anyone who's curious, whether you're just starting out or looking to try something new. We're not professional bartenders, and that's kind of the point. These are simple, creative pours you can make at home, starting with the basics and working our way into more adventurous territory. At the end of the day, it's about enjoying the process, experimenting a little, and having fun with your pour choices. So grab a glass, join us, and let's demystify some whiskey cocktails together from the Whiskey Bear Den. Next up is the common household old-fashioned. We're looking for a simple pour you can make. This may not be the best old-fashioned you'll ever have, but it absolutely gets the job done. It uses common ingredients and tools most people already have at home, making it a great starting point for learning the fundamentals. This version helps you understand the balance of a little sweetness and a little bitterness, with the whiskey doing most of the talking. Once you've got this down, everything else is just refinement. So think of this as old-fashioned 101. Simple, approachable, and a solid foundation before we start leveling things up in future videos. For our common household old-fashioned, we're keeping things simple and accessible. These are everyday ingredients and tools that most people already have or can easily find. We're starting with 2 ounces of whiskey, bourbon or rye. Use what you like or what you've got on hand. Next, a 1/4 teaspoon of granulated sugar and a 1/4 teaspoon of water. Nothing fancy here, just enough to bring a little sweetness. We'll add 2 to 3 dashes of Angostura bitters for balance and depth. You'll want a rock-style glass, standard ice cubes, and a spoon for stirring. And finally, we'll finish it off with a maraschino cherry garnish for simple, classic, and straight from the pantry. That's it. No special syrups, no advanced techniques, just the basics to help you learn how an old-fashioned comes together.
Welcome. Part of this new video series is to start posting common whiskey cocktails that we intend to demystify some of these and make them less intimidating. The first one I would like to introduce is the old-fashioned. There are many variations of the old-fashioned, but I find starting with baby steps to get the general concept of it is a good starting place. Not everybody has all the accessories and ingredients to make an old-fashioned, so I decided I wanted to start this what I call the common household old-fashioned. These are for the times that individuals will be given a bottle of a bourbon or a rye and maybe some bitters, have some maraschino cherries, and decide, I want to make an old-fashioned, but how do I do this? So let's start with some of the primary foundational elements of an old-fashioned that we cannot compromise on. The common rocks glass. There are many different styles of rocks glass. Choose one to your liking, but the rocks glass is the traditional glass used for an old-fashioned, and there are reasons why. Next, old-fashions usually are based on rye or bourbon. Due to the sugar content of an old-fashioned, my personal preference is a rye, but you certainly can select what is your preference. For this demonstration, I'll be using a common riverboat rye. The next main ingredient in an old-fashioned would be the bitters. There are many variations of bitters, but again, starting with the basic, we are going to just use bitters. Next, simple syrup. Not something everybody has offhand, and it is something that is quite common. So what I'm going to do for this video is really go on a more basic level and using those household items. The final is the garnish. We have orange peels, we have cherries, but cherries tend to be more common, so we'll stick with the maraschino cherry for the garnish at the end. This was not my personal preference favorite of an old-fashioned, but this is a good way to get your foot through the door and demystify an old-fashioned. So, let's begin. For me, always start with the rocks glass. For this, if we don't have simple syrup, we could easily make some. Household sugar. Most simple syrups call for 1/2 teaspoon. Since we're making our own, we're going to use approximately 1/4 teaspoon of granulated sugar. To match that, we will then add 1/4 teaspoon of water. Next, the bitters. Usually 2 to 3 dashes in your glass. Typically, we would muddle this, but again, going on a basic level and not everybody having a muddle, common spoon will work. At this point, we blend in these ingredients at the bottom of the glass. We do this for just a few moments. And now, we're ready to start mixing our cocktail. The next ingredient is going to be the rye, for me. This is going to be 2 ounces, so you always want to do about a 2-ounce pour. Now this is the mixing cup method. Again, one of the more basic methods for using what everybody has as household items. At this point, we would take our ice, put it in the glass, and we all have our preferences on ice, but again, we're keeping this household. Just a few items of ice, kind of level off the glass, and then we stir. A common misconception about an old-fashioned is that it is shaken. No, for an old-fashioned, we always stir an old-fashioned. Once the stirring is complete, we use the garnish. For this, common maraschino cherries. Not everybody has toothpicks or ways to display the garnish. But alas, for those wanting an introduction to a common household easy items, this is a good start. So cheers.